Sometimes after copying data, you might want to do more than just a simple paste. And Excel has a feature called Paste Special. For example, in this worksheet called Profits, I've got the data laid out this way, and I'm thinking maybe it would have been better, and I still can adjust it, to somehow restructure this so that we have the monthly names down a left column and these entries here across the top. So selecting the data here, I'm going to press Control-C to copy. And then out in cell K2, I want to go to Paste Special. Now, of course, you can right-click and go to Paste Special and see lots of options. Eventually, you would discover in here there is a transpose option, and you can begin to see the preview of what we will get if we do this. And certainly nothing wrong with that. And if you've never used that before, that's a great tool, by the way, for considering how the data might look if we transposed it. And maybe we'll use that eventually. But let me backtrack, press Control-Z. Sometimes we want to get to Paste Special a bit faster. And there is a new keystroke shortcut, at least new in Excel 2007, that you might have overlooked. It's Control-Alt-V. So let's go back to this scenario. We've got the data here. It's highlighted. We'll press Control-C. We want to put the transposed version out here in cell K2. So we'll just go to K2 and press Control-Alt-V. Remember, Control-V means paste. Control-Alt-V brings up the Paste Special dialog box. Here's transpose, OK. And that's likely to be faster much of the time. Now, it just depends upon how frequently you use Paste Special. There are lots of other little treasures embedded in that feature. Now, here's another example, too, on the HR list, off to the left here. Let's imagine that this is sample data, and ultimately it really is anyway. I've got hire dates in column G. As I click column G, look in the status bar. You'll see that the maximum value, meaning the latest hire date, is October of 2013. I want my data to look more up to date, so what I really like to do here is to bump these into the year 2014. And I could add 365, 364, I could add 300, almost any number I want to these. But it's by way of Paste Special that I'd want to do this. So off to the right, let's suppose we bump these all up by half a year. That's 182 days. I'll just put in 182 right here and copy that, Control-C. Now, how do we select all these dates? Let's click on the first one, and using the Shift key, we can either press Control down arrow or double-click the bottom edge to highlight all these cells. We want to use Paste Special on this, Control-Alt-V, and what we want to do is to add that number that got copied. We'll click OK, and all these dates will be updated. However, the formula looks a little bit strange, and we can easily adjust this from the Home tab in the ribbon, where we see the word Custom typically, drop arrow, how about Short Date? And now, as we look at this data, we can click column G and see that April 14th is the last hire date. So we've moved everything up by a half year. And again, that was sample data, so we can do that sort of thing. But you can certainly imagine other scenarios when you're working with numbers when you want to increment them by way of Paste Special. So we can easily get to Paste Special with Control-Alt-V. And there's certainly other uses for it in addition to the two that we saw in this movie.